Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show. In some previous podcast episodes, I had talked about the importance of confidence. I think it's one of the keys to success. I truly do. I believe that if you are authentic, bold, and confident, you can achieve unparalleled levels of success, and you can define success by any way you like, but ultimately the way I define it is saying that happiness for me is success. If I am happy with what I'm doing, who I'm around, that is success for me. But when it comes to being successful, it does have to come back to confidence as being one of the most important traits. Now, you might be able to say confidence is a tricky thing because it can go into borderline levels of arrogance or cockiness, and that is true, right? There are times where that can definitely happen. But you need to have a certain level of self-esteem. And so today's episode of the Chris Hanna Show, I'm going to be talking about how to improve your self-esteem, how to improve your confidence that you have within yourself. I've got a series of statements that I'm going to take you through and some advice that I want to share around how to improve your overall self-esteem. So let's get into it here. So the first one is surround yourself with people who are positive and supportive, and shun friends who are cynical and negative. I'm a big believer that you need to avoid the unhappy and the unlucky people in life. So if you spend your time with people who are positive, uplifting, and they are ultimately supportive of who you are authentically and what you do, that's going to produce a more positive environment for you. I've seen way too many people, and I'll speak from personal experience where I've spent time with people who are negative. They don't believe in you. They shoot down your ideas whenever possible. They take credit for the work that you do, and they're just overly negative, toxic people. And that does nothing but make you toxic. Toxic people are very contagious. So whenever possible, surround yourself with people who you do think are positive and they are supportive, and that will help make your self-esteem that much higher. The next thing I think that's important when it comes to self-esteem and improving it is make sure you're clear about what you want to achieve in life. We all have goals or aspirations or things that we want. Some people choose to act on them, and unfortunately, I hate saying this, a lot of people choose not to act on their goals and their dreams, and by the time they hit retirement age, or they even get into their 50s or 40s, they start to regret not doing what they were passionate about when they had the opportunity when they were younger. So you need to be clear with yourself and state what you want. Sometimes you just need to put it out into the universe, and maybe the universe will deliver. It might not be the exact thing that you're looking for, but you need to know what you want to achieve. What are you going after? What is the goal? Whether it's personally or professionally, you need to move forward and not just be steady state in the status quo. That's where dreams go to die. And if you want to have any sort of life that's worth living, why don't you do something about it? Be clear with yourself and set these targets and goals for yourself to push yourself forward. Now, when it comes to pushing yourself forward, it's important to make sure that you're also being positive about yourself. There are things that we might not like about ourselves, but when you put yourself down or you think negatively about yourself, that can be all-consuming too. I talked earlier about toxic people. Well, if you have a toxic mindset yourself, you're not going to achieve anything. So one of the things I really hold dear to me is a quote from one of my favorite movies of all time, Back to the Future. The quote is, "If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything." And I believe that quote to be so important, and a lot of people need to remember this quote because you have to be positive about yourself. You have to believe in yourself. It's all about mindset. Your mindset is what can conquer the biggest obstacle and can overcome so many challenges that get thrust your way if you have the right mindset and the right mentality. So always be positive about yourself. Think about what you can do and make sure that you can actually deliver on it, but have the right mindset and the right viewpoint. I've led lots of teams throughout my career, and when you have expectations as a leader of your employees and you think that someone can't do something, oftentimes they live up to those expectations. The same thing happens to us as individuals. If we think we can't do something, we won't. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can move forward and you can be successful. The other thing that's important is to develop the ability to accept criticism when things don't go right, without getting upset or defensive. Anyone who knows me knows that I struggled with this for a long time, and that I had a hard time taking advice from others or accepting any feedback, because I maybe thought too far to the extreme that everything I did was perfect. I had such a positive mindset about myself that I wouldn't accept the opinions of others. And it wasn't until life kind of kicked me in the face where I started to realize I needed to change and started to realize I can accept the criticism of others because it's not coming from a bad place. There's no ill intent. There's no malice there. What people were trying to do was ultimately help me. So if you can be willing to be humble and you can accept criticism from the right people you surround yourself with, like I said, who are positive and supportive, that can make a world of difference, and they can ultimately make you better. You're growing by accepting that criticism. And you're not getting upset, and you're not getting defensive, you're reacting the right way. If you want to improve your self-esteem, I also think it's important that you accept that we're going to fail from time to time. Not everything's going to work out. I believe that you need to try and fail as many times as you can until you figure out what it is you're looking to do and to take yourself to the next level. But time to time, you're going to fail. And that's okay. The reason I say it's okay is because you actually need to learn from it. There are tons of lessons to be learned from when we fail. There are so many examples throughout history about people, whether they're entrepreneurs, they're leaders who have failed, but they got themselves back up and they kept going at it. So many inventions that have been created over time that people failed, but eventually they get it right. Keep trying. Keep experimenting. Keep living life. That's how you're going to continue to grow and progress. If you want to improve your self-esteem, it's also important not to compare yourself with others. Now, this is easier said than done. I understand that. But the truth is, every single one of us on this planet is unique. We have all had different experiences. We've come from different life backgrounds, different cultures. We've gone through such a tremendous amount of differences and changes in our life that no one person is exactly the same. So why compare yourself with others? Why compare yourself with others to the point where you are upset or you're jealous or you're envious? You feel that you are hard done by because someone has something that you want. If you want it, go out and get it. But you got to realize you're going to have to do it your own way. There's no cookie cutter, copy paste option for life. The life we have is the life that we ourselves have created through decisions that we've made, both from the mundane to the monumental. But it's not worth the effort and the time to compare yourself with others because they are at a certain point because of decisions that they have made. Decisions that you have made have got you to where you are today. Decisions that I have made in my life have put me in this chair recording this podcast today for you. So don't compare yourself with others. You will get to wherever you want to get to at your own time, or not, but it's your choice. It's your choice of where you get to in life, but there's no point comparing yourself to others and looking at it as a measuring stick because there's one you. Don't worry about trying to be the next someone, be the next you. Another way to improve your self-esteem is to make sure that you never put yourself down. There is absolutely nothing to be gained from this. It's pretty simple. It's clear cut. If you put yourself down, others will also see you in that same light. But you also are going to have struggles in terms of overcoming that mindset. There's a lot of people in life who look at their world as a constant challenge that they're always trying to overcome. The truth is, at least from my perspective, and I know many people that I've talked to about this, they look at life as something that they can enjoy, that they can work towards, and they can try and be successful, but others think that they're always overcoming. When you're always overcoming, you're always trying to come from behind, and you're always trying to persevere, but you're feeling like you have all these challenges in front of you and all these blockages. That's not the right outlook you want to have in life. So don't put yourself behind the 8 ball and think that it's all really bad or it's a challenge and there's so much adversity. It doesn't have to be that way. It's all about your mindset and how you're looking at it. The last thing I think that's important to remember when it comes to improving your self-esteem is that you should never give in to bullies. There are going to be people out there who, whether they know it or not, are negative and they are bullies. They might put down your ideas, the way you look, the way you act, the way you speak, whatever it is, don't give in to them. It doesn't matter what someone else thinks of you. The only thing that actually truly matters is how you think about yourself. Have the outlook and the mindset where you prioritize caring about one person's thoughts about you. The opinions of others doesn't matter. There are so many supporting cast members in our lives. And by that I mean, if you look at any sort of movie, television show, there's all the primary characters. And in every show, you'll have your primary characters, but then you'll start to see as the credits roll, all these supporting cast members who don't even have a name. When you look at your life, when you're near the end, and you reflect on your life, you're going to remember the primary cast, not the supporting cast members. But some people get so hung up on people who momentarily pop into their life. They might be a bully or they might be somebody who's just super negative. But at the end of the day, that person doesn't make a huge difference on what you do. They only do if you actually let them. So again, it's all about mindset. It's all about your outlook and how you think about life. But you should never give in to bullies. If you want to improve your self-esteem, I think if you follow the tips that I have provided during this episode, you will be well on your way to being a more confident and successful person. And again, as I define success, I say success for me is happiness. So you have an opportunity to be happier as well as a result of this if you follow the steps that we've shared in this episode. So again, look forward to connecting with you again soon for the next episode of The Chris Hanna Show, and I hope you have a good rest of your week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Chris Hanna Show. As always, the latest episodes are available to listen and subscribe to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow The Chris Hanna Show on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter for more resources and solutions, including blog posts, toolkits, ebooks, speaking sessions, and more. Visit chrishanna.ca today. We look forward to connecting again with you soon for another episode of The Chris Hanna Show.